I want you to take a quick peek in your cupboards, and chances are lurking somewhere you've got a mismatched or forgotten set of salt and pepper shakers. Maybe they're chipped or outdated, or you just don't need them for seasoning anymore. Well, get ready to see what's truly possible, because in this video, I'm going to show you some seriously clever and creative ways that those shakers can have a brand new life. We're turning trash into treasure, one shaker at a time. Let's get upcycling. How cute are these little salt and pepper shakers? They were 50 cents a piece, and the one has had his head broken off. It has been re-glued. These are not worth anything, but I'm going to show you a really cute way that we can upcycle these. I have some spackling, and I'm just going to use a little bit just to fill in those holes, just to cover them up. And then we're going to set them aside and let that spackling dry. Put a little bit on the other one. Okay, this will just take probably about a half an hour. I'm going to set them aside. We're going to let them dry, and we'll be back. The spackling is all dry. We're going to give these a couple coats of this beautiful gold spray paint. And we have the cutest little golden geese. And these are perfect to tuck into a house plant. You can tuck it in with the leaves, and it looks really cute. You can use it as decor in a cabinet or on a stack of books. The possibilities are amazing, and you can use so many different colors of spray paint. I love the gold on these. I think it was exactly what they needed, and such a fun way to upcycle some broken salt and pepper shakers. This is a really cute set of salt and pepper shakers, but the tops have kind of discolored a little bit, so they're great for upcycling. You want to make sure when you're doing projects like this to do some research first, because we don't want to be altering some salt and pepper shakers that maybe might be worth a little bit of money. And there are some out there that are. So just be careful before you upcycle anything or alter it, to make sure that you're not ruining something that's worth some cash. So we're just going to remove the tops off of both of these. We're going to do the little purple one first. Here's a really clever idea. I picked this up at the dollar store. It's a reed diffuser, and you can use this little salt and pepper shaker as a reed diffuser container. This comes with the scent, and you can just pour it. Why do I always do this and not do this when I'm off camera? And then you guys have to watch me struggle while I try to open these and do a DIY project. But that's good. It had a little top in there so it didn't spill. We're going to pour that oil in the salt and pepper shaker. Add our reeds. And tuck it in a corner where you want to have some nice scent go throughout your room. Now, here's another really clever idea. Again, we just took the top off, and I've got some little cotton pads, and we're just going to get some essential oil, and we're going to put some on that cotton pad. Got some beautiful smelling lavender. Stick it in the salt and pepper shaker. Put the lid back on, and place this in a room somewhere where you want to have some nice scent from the essential oil. What I love doing with it is putting it in my truck, and I'll put it in one of the drink holders in the back seat, and it just makes your truck smell nice and fresh, and it looks pretty too. Do you love crafting with glitter but hate the little containers that they come with, and sometimes the holes are too small or they're too big? Grab a salt pepper shaker, and this is an old one that I think you used to see these a lot in restaurants. Take the lid off and get your glitter. pour it in the salt and pepper shaker. Now I want to mix these two together. I've got some pink and I've got some purple. We're going to put the lid back on and give it a really good shake. Now you have a nice and tidy way to dispense your glitter evenly. And we've mixed those two colors together. That's made a gorgeous color. So this is a really clever way to upcycle some salt and pepper shakers. Now, these aren't necessarily salt and pepper shakers, but they're little spice containers. And I always pick these up at the thrift store when I find them because there's so many ways that you can upcycle them. One way is we're gonna take the lid off. We're gonna get a piece of wood. Because this is a solid lid and we wanna drill a little hole in it, we can just take our drill a hole in a couple places in the top. Just like this. And now we've got 4 holes in the lid. And I'm going to show you what you can do with these. So now that we've got the holes in the lid, there's so many ways that you can use this. You can put sugar in it and use it as a sugar shaker, icing sugar, flour if you want to dust your countertop. You can put water in it and sprinkle it in your plants. I love to use this in the spring when I'm planting my garden. I have a little envelope of seeds and these are really kind of tiny and they're hard to disperse. So I like to just take them, pour them in the bottle, and then you can put the lid on, take them out to your garden, and you can sprinkle them along, and they're going to evenly disperse better than just trying to do it with your hand and to sprinkle it. Now we have the other little spice jar, and I have 2 ways that I'm going to show you to upcycle this one. The first one is just take the lid off, and it's the cutest little bottle. Let's do some propagating. I'm going to fill it up with water. I have some clippings from my umbrella tree. We're going to put them in there, put it in the window, and use it as a little propagation station. And you can collect them and do all of your clippings in little salt and pepper shakers or in the little spice bottles. I did a video on how to upcycle teapots. If you haven't seen that video, there's so much inspiration there. Click the link right here after you watch this video and check that one out. But I went in the comments and I was asking for a way that you guys use E6000 and don't have any problems with it. It's so hard to squeeze out of the tube. Overwhelming response, and I got some really great tips. The first one is to use a toothpaste tube key and push all of the E6000 up to the top. Game changer. You can pick these up at the dollar store. It worked fantastic. The other thing was the lid getting stuck on and off. Mineral oil. Use a little bit of mineral oil or Vaseline. Just put a little bit on your finger. Just rub it around the top. Put your lid on. It's not going to stick. So thank you so much for going into the comments and giving me some really great tips so I can use E6000 and it's a little bit more enjoyable. Now let's use a salt and pepper shaker as a riser. I have this beautiful crystal dish and another little glass bowl. We're going to incorporate these all together. We're going to use our E6000 and we're going to put some on the bottom of the riser. Center it right in the middle of the bowl. That looks great. And then we're going to put some E6000 right around the rim. Put the lid on. It's not going to stick because we have that mineral oil on it. And we're going to center this little dish. Let's set it aside for 24 hours and I'll be back and I'll show you how to style this and how beautiful it is. Next upcycle. How cute is this little pig? And when I was in the thrift store, I found him, but he had lost his mate. It was only one little pig. So we're going to give him a new home. And this is a really easy way to upcycle salt and pepper shakers. We're going to remove the little bottom, actually save these, because a lot of times when you're out looking for salt and pepper shakers, these are missing. So you can probably replace it with this one. So we'll set that aside. And I just went out to my garden and I got a stick. We've got our hot glue gun. We're going to put some hot glue on the end of that stick. And we're just going to put it in through that hole and just hold it until it sticks. We have a little pig on a stick. Well, that is so cute. And when you tuck this into one of your little house plants and have it peeking just out in between the leaves, they're so stinking adorable. And there's so many little animal salt and pepper shakers that you can find at the thrift store, or maybe you have in your cupboard tucked up away, that you can do this super simple, super easy way to upcycle a salt and pepper shaker. These are the cutest salt and pepper shakers, and they're really big. Missing the bottoms. Do not throw out the bottoms of other salt and pepper shakers that you upcycle, because this is exactly what you might need them for. I had one left over and it fits in here perfect. So I can use it to seal up this one. Now this one has got a big crack in it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it yet. So we're going to set this one aside. But this one here, we're going to turn into a flower frog. I have a full tutorial that goes through all the steps on how to drill glass and ceramic, and it's really super simple. I'm going to use that technique today on top of this salt and pepper shaker because it's got lots of room. It already has some holes. You just need a dish and a cloth. I just want this so it doesn't move around on me. You can buy the special bits for glass and ceramic on Amazon. I'll put the link down below in the description. But before you try any of this, make sure that you watch that tutorial so you have all the safety tips and all the tricks to be successful when you're drilling into glass or ceramic. I'll put the QR code right here. We'll put it down below, and watch that video after you finish watching this one. You just want to make sure you have some water on the top. The drill bit gets warm. We're going to enlarge the one hole. And there we have one hole drilled. It's a little bit bigger. There's lots of different size drill bits in here, so just pick out what you want. But I've got lots of surface here, so I'm going to put a few more holes and I'll be back when it's all finished. We've got some holes drilled in the top, and it's going to make a beautiful flower frog. We're going to pour some water in it, and it has that stopper in the bottom now, so it should hold water, but I'll probably put a little saucer underneath just to hold the water in it and keep everything in place. And then you can just put your flowers in here. How beautiful is this? With a little salt and pepper shaker. Beautiful way to upcycle a salt and pepper shaker. Another way I love to upcycle these is to keep your matches. This is just some wooden matches, and I have lots of candles in my home. So we're going to take them out of that ugly box. I picked these up at the dollar store. They're a lot cheaper than buying them off of Amazon. And put the lid back on. And then we want to cut out the strike pad. And we're going to then measure the bottom. We're going to cut it to the size that it's going to fit. I've got a hot glue gun here. We're going to put some hot glue on the bottom, glue it, And you can set this beside your candle in your living room and have a really pretty spot to keep your matches. Another clever way to do with this is when you're camping, keep your matches in here. They're waterproof. Tuck them in your camping supplies and you've got matches ready to go. This is actually a really beautiful set of salt and pepper shakers, and they were $2. But I have too many salt and pepper shakers that I'm using for salt and pepper. So I am going to show you how you can maybe perk up your spice cabinet or your spice rack with some salt and pepper shakers. I have a packet of ground ginger, and they're always so hard to pour out and to even store and have them look nice. So I'm going to take this salt and pepper shaker, and it's clean. There was nothing else in it before. I made a little paper funnel. We're just going to pour that ginger into the salt and pepper shaker. I love ginger. Ginger molasses cookies, one of my favorites. And we're just gonna fill up this little salt and pepper shaker. And salt and pepper shakers are something that you're gonna find at every thrift store. I went in and was trying to find a couple just to even film for this video, and I found all kinds. You're going to probably pay a little bit more for like the fancier ones. But if you are, those are the ones that are probably worth a little bit of money. So we don't want to upcycle them. And just finding plain ones like these, you can pick them up from anywhere from 50 cents to a couple bucks and do some of these upcycling projects. Okay, we've got our ginger in there. Now we want to label this so we know ginger is in here. So I've made a little label. I just printed off the word ginger on my laser printer. I've got some packing tape. If you've been following along here, you've seen me do this technique probably quite a few times. It's so handy for making labels or for making stuff for your junk journals or your DIYs. It's a really cool technique. Unfortunately, it only works on a laser printer. It doesn't work on an inkjet printer. That's the only drawback with this. But if you do a lot of crafting, I would invest in a laser printer. Well worth the money. And they are not as expensive as they used to be. So we've just taken some packing tape and we've laid it over top of that label. And you want to press it really hard to get that paper with the laser printed word on it really bonded into that tape really well. We're going to cut off the extra. And if this is the first time seeing this, you wait for the magic. This is so cool. Okay, next step. Now we're going to take our little ginger sign and put it in some water. We're just going to let it soak for maybe 10 seconds. And what we're going to do is when we take it out of the water, we can start to rub off the paper. And the paper is going to come off, but the words are going to stay on the tape. And it stays sticky. I need to soak that just a little bit more in that corner. These are really great to organize your pantry or bins that you have, or label things in your kids' stuff. And of course, you can make them as big as a piece of packing tape. And you just want to rub off all of that paper. It doesn't take very much. And once it's dry, it is sticky again. And you can stick it on your little spice bottle. And now we know we have ginger in there. We can put it in our pantry. And it's good to go. And if you don't have a laser printer and you want to still label your little container, just cut the words off of the package. Try to do a nice square. And then you can just get a piece of packing tape, stick it on there, and then just cut around the edges, just enough to leave some tape to stick to your spice jar or your salt and pepper shaker. And you have a great label that you can stick on the bottle. We're gonna try and get this straight. There we go. So there's two different ways of labeling some salt and pepper shakers after you've put something other than salt and pepper in them. So we've got our ground ginger from the package, and then we have our DIY label that we made. These bigger salt and pepper shakers are also great for holding beads or buttons or findings. And they're great because you can see what's in them. And then they also look really beautiful when you put them on a shelf to display them. So you can fill it up with your favorite beads, put the lid on, and a great way to store jewelry making stuff. If you're an owl lover, you're going to love this upcycle. I love finding salt and pepper shakers that are different themes: Christmas, Halloween, Easter, animals. And when I found these ones, the bottoms were missing. So I know they would be perfect to upcycle. We are going to turn them into ornaments, and we're going to have a stash of ribbon that we're going to use, and we're going to make a couple tassels. We're going to take the ribbon that we have. You can use twine, you can use whatever you have in your stash to make tassels. I actually have a full tutorial on how to make the perfect tassel. I'll put the QR code right here and also a link down below in the description, and you can watch that if you want a real in-depth tutorial on how to create beautiful tassels. But I'm just wrapping this ribbon around my fingers. I have some that's longer than others. That's perfect. Now we're going to take a length of wire. That looks pretty good right there. I make all kinds of these at Christmas with Christmas themed salt and pepper shakers, and anyone that I give them to absolutely loves them as gifts. So we're just putting the wire through the top of that ribbon, and we're going to just twist it really tight a couple times, probably 3 times. And now our ribbon is secured on that wire. We're going to now feed the wire through 2 of the holes in the salt and pepper. Takes a little bit of dexterity and good eyesight to see what you're doing. There we go. So we've got 1 through. Now, and this is nice because this wire is kind of flexible, so you can move it around where you need it. Let's put the other one through. There we go. That one went easy. And we're just going to pull it until the tassel is just sitting on the bottom of the salt and pepper shaker. I want to pull it a little bit snug inside just so it looks nice. And then you're going to twist your wire. And if you don't have any wire, you can always use twine and try it out that way. I've twisted it twice. I got a couple beads here. We're gonna string on. I've got a bead stash from when I was into jewelry making a few years ago. So I always have lots that I can go back and choose from. We're gonna thread 2 beads onto the top of it. And I also had this little necklace in my stash that we're going to use. And it's got a little loop there. So we're gonna put the 1 loop. We're gonna cut some of that wire off, use my pliers, and I'm gonna tuck that wire into the top of the bead so it's not gonna come loose. And we're gonna do the same on the other side. We're gonna tuck that second wire into the bead and wait until you see how cute these are. The last thing that we need to do is we're gonna cut the bottom ribbons all off. And of course, if you're using a twine, you can unravel it so it's got a nice full look to it. And don't forget to check out that video on how to do the perfect DIY tassel. We're just gonna trim this so it's all the same length. How stinking cute is that? From a salt and pepper shaker that I found at the thrift store. And I think this set was $1. And you can imagine if this was a Christmas themed salt and pepper, and you could hang it on a tree for a gift. I hope that gave you some inspiration. I found these salt and pepper shakers at the thrift store, and as soon as I saw them, I was inspired because I knew what I wanted to do with them. Now, these are marked Japan, so they probably are a little bit collectible. I'm not going to alter them anyway. We're just going to add to them and make them more fun and whimsical. So I designed a package of 12 canning labels. I'll put the picture right here. They're available in my Etsy store. They're also in my Patreon graphic club. So if you are a member, you can go and grab those 12 canning labels right away and craft with them, or you can grab them in my Etsy store. All those links will be down below in the description. But I have designed this corn graphic, and I thought it was perfect for these salt and pepper shakers. So what we're going to do is I am going to cut out the graphic. I'm going to cut out the black border. I don't want that for this project. We're going to trim that right off. Perfect. I'm going to cut a piece of cardboard the same size as the graphic. Perfect. Now I'm going to paint this black. Both sides are painted black. We're going to get out our Mod Podge mat. We're going to put some Mod Podge on a piece of cardboard right out to the edge. And we're going to take our graphic. We're going to lay it right in there. We have a little bit of black peeking all around the edges. We're going to take a brayer. We're going to press that down really well. Perfect. I have some ink. We're just going to go around the edges in case there's a little bit of white showing on that paper. There is a little bit. I love this group of 12 graphics. I've used them so much in all of my crafting. They have such that vintage kind of retro feel. Okay, so now we're just going to set that aside and let it dry. And we are going to now get a piece of wire. We're going to cut it about, we're going to measure it with the salt and pepper. So we want it about 1 inch above the top. We're going to cut that. We're going to kind of fold it in half. And we're going to take a big paintbrush and we're going to wrap it around. So we have 2 loops of the wire. Make sure it's formed really nice in the circle. And this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to wash my hands and we'll be right back. Okay, so now the perfect thing about this is they only have 2 holes. So we're going to put the wire through those 2 holes. And then we can just slip that graphic between the two wires. And how adorable is that? Of course, you can imagine the possibilities with this DIY for place cards, for table numbers, for a wedding, for seasonal decor, so many possibilities. And you can also use old photos. This one's fantastic to fool around with, and I absolutely love this corn graphic with this salt and pepper shaker. Sometimes it's nice just to upgrade your old salt and pepper shakers. So when I found these wooden ones, I grabbed them right away. It was $5.99 for this set, and they're solid wood in really good condition. They don't even look like they were ever used. I looked inside and they're nice and clean. So these are gonna go in my dining room and put to good use. These are adorable salt and pepper shakers, and they've got a beautiful kind of shabby chic rose pattern on them. They are marked Stanford, made in England. I'm not going to alter these because they're beautiful. They are missing the bottom pieces, but let's do some place cards. I printed off my name. I've got some nice fancy scissors. We're going to cut out my name. I think this is a fantastic idea for a wedding if you wanted to label all of your placemats. Again, we just did the same thing with the wire. We wrapped it around. We have a circle. This one's got 3 holes in it, so we'll put that in there. And then you can just slip your place card in. This one, it only has 1 hole in it, and I don't want to drill any holes. I was thinking I could take a little piece of greenery and put it in the middle, but it kind of looks cheesy, I think, just because the hole is so small. I can't fit in any more than 1, but what do you think? It's kind of cute. Not sure about the little greenery. It might look nicer just having it beside it by itself, but I love this idea of turning them into little place cards. Thanks for watching today's video on upcycling salt and pepper shakers, and I would love to know down in the comments which one was your favorite, and I hope you found lots of inspiration. If you love this video, I'm sure you're gonna love the next video where I'm upcycling all kinds of teapots. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. We're gonna see you in the next video. Take care.